Can you give like a ballpark estimate of your cost of living in BGC?
So in a given month, I will spend between $100 a month. And it's a question I get all of the time, which is, Zane, how do you afford to travel? How can I become a full-time traveler? How much do you spend? I think some people are going to be surprised that I spend $30. I think some people are going to be shocked that I don't spend more.
We're the first to know about your travel budget. So Zane Travel exposed on the Savvy
Exposed,
Expat.
there we go. Yeah.
Connection.
Can you give like a ballpark estimate of your cost of living in BGC?
Yeah, well, so BGC, so I will just say my cost of living in 7 months in Southeast Asia. So I can't really do BGC. I'll give you my cost of living in 7 months traveling through Southeast Asia. So in a given month, I will spend between $3,000 and $3,500 a month. So I would just split it down the middle and say $3,200 a month is about what I spend traveling.
$3,200.
And I'll be interested to see, I'm going to read the comments because I think there's going to be cross-channel viewership here. I think some people from my channel are going to watch, and it's a question I get all of the time, which is, Zane, how do you afford to travel? How can I become a full-time traveler? How much do you spend? So I'm glad to answer the question. I do want to see in the comments though, because I think some people are going to be surprised that I spend $3,200 a month. And I think some people are going to be shocked that I don't spend more. Like, I think there's going to be a little bit of both because, you know, I'm backpacking, I'm living out of 2 bags, but I'm not on a shoestring budget.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I'm not on a shoestring budget, so
we're the first to know about your travel budget. So Zane Travel exposed on the Savvy Expat.
There we go.
So you're spending around like $3,200-ish per month, and of course it's not like a typical backpacker's budget, right?
Yeah.
But it actually makes sense because you're not just settled down. Like I'm sure if you were to settle down in one place,
considerably cheaper,
but you're constantly traveling, experiencing new things, getting content, eating out. So of course that makes sense to me.
I'd actually also, if you don't mind, I'm sorry to cut you off. I would like to expand on that because like I actually believe that I've been living like a king. So I've actually heard this expression all over YouTube, which is like, you can live like a king on $500.
It's the ultimate clickbait title.
It's a great clickbait. I get it. Everybody clickbait. So like for me, I'd like to actually define what living like a king is like, because I actually feel like I have for the last 8 months. So for me, living like a king is, I have never cooked a meal in the last 8 months. So I've eaten out every single meal. I'm not worried when the bill comes. So basically, if I want to order steak, I can order steak, and I'm not worried about the bill. If I want to get a few drinks, if I want to have a few beers, or even if I want to go out to another bar, not worried about it. Basically, get to eat what I want, order what I want. And then another big part of, for me, like living like a king would be, I don't stay in hostels. So I've never stayed in a hostel. I don't stay in low budget hotels. I will do budget hotels, but not like super low budget. So I'll do like a mix of budget hotels, mid-range hotels, and even resorts. So like when I went to Phang Lao on my first trip, I stayed at the Henan Alona Beach, and that's like over $100 a night. I stayed there 4 nights. So actually it was like a mix of Henan Tawala and Henan Alona. But that's something, again, like if I'm saying I live like a king, basically I'm not in a hostel. I'm not doing hostels. I'm not sharing bathrooms. I'm not worried about cockroaches. Like these are things that I like when I travel. So these are like the comforts that I want when I travel. The third thing is flights. Like I won't even take the cheapest flight. Sometimes, like I really wanted to fly Korean Air, so I spent more money to fly Korean Air.
I love it.
So those are kind of the 3 bullet points on like what does living like a king look like. That's kind of how I've been doing it.
And I think that's actually nice to hear that you can have that sort of lifestyle you just listed off for $3,000 plus budget. To
put that in context, I won't say the exact amount, but like $3,200 a month is considerably less than what I was spending in America.
So even still, like you're still living.
So $3,200. So consider that in America right now in October 2023, median rent is $2,000. Median mortgage payment is $2,200.
Wow.
So I'm spending $3,200. You can quickly see how that would add up in America, right? If you're spending $2,000 on rent, and then food's extremely expensive, transportation's extremely expensive, gas is extremely expensive, right? So those things I don't have to worry about as much.
Right.
And I've been able to experience 9 countries.
Yeah. So with a lower cost of living.
With a lower cost of living.
Ballpark in the U.S., if you don't mind, what was your cost of living back in Pennsylvania?
So the last place I lived was DC. So when I was in Pennsylvania, it was like I had roommates. I was like fresh out of college. With roommates, it was honestly close to like $3,000. So that was with roommates. That was like $3,000.
Oh, $3,000
with roommates. Wow. Yeah. Like maybe a little bit less, but like around there. And that's when I had roommates. Denver was much more. Actually, don't even want to. Denver was like over 4,000, I believe, and then DC was, I'm not even going to say how much DC was. DC is just an extremely expensive place.
I think
that was the last place I lived, and it's one of the most expensive places to live in the world, I believe.
Yeah, I think even just hearing it being over 4,000 as a single person, that's insane to me.
Yeah.
So you're living like a king around Asia for less than how much it costs to live in the US.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just loved hearing how the kind of lifestyle you have for that kind of budget. Because while a lot of people might be like, $3,000 in Asia, that's too much, man.
Yeah.
We all have our own lifestyle preferences.
Yeah.
I can almost already smell the hate coming.
Oh, I can smell the hate. The hate's coming.
I can smell the hate coming.
Yeah.
Oh, you're snobby.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah, but I love that you're living that kind of lifestyle. So in BGC, like in a week, do you have a rough amount that you'd say you spend here?
BGC, like I just found like a really good deal on, sorry. Okay, so keep going. Okay, keep going. Okay. I found a really good deal on an Airbnb. I spent $250 for 1 week at an Airbnb over at one uptown residence. So $250 for my Airbnb. I would say you can expect to spend between $250 and $350 on an Airbnb for 1 week here. And then food is typically around for me, food is typically around 1,000 pesos per meal. So maybe like 1,000 to 2,000 pesos for 2 meals here. So otherwise, I mean, what else? I currently haven't been drinking, so there hasn't been any like beer expenses. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And
you can definitely do it cheaper. I do.
Yeah.
Like I know that there will be hate, but like if I was just in BGC, I guess I could make it on 15. It just, from my perspective, like on $1,500 a month, like half of your money is going to go to rent.
Oh yeah.
And then that means you're probably not going to be able to take a trip to Boracay. You're probably not going to be able to take a trip to Cebu, maybe once every 2 months or something like that. But if you want to get up and go, I would recommend 3,000. I would really recommend 3,000 for like, if you want to do what I'm, like if you watch my channel and you want to do what I'm doing, I would recommend 3,000.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's a great figure that you put out there, because I've been saying that for like the whole duration of the channel.
Yeah.
And I've gotten a lot of kickback from that. Like, Evan, it's the Philippines. Like, 500, man, 500. Like, 500 is not going to buy you anything here.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, 3,000 is pretty ideal if you want to live life.
Like, if you really want to live. Yeah.
Yeah. So, in not just exist. So, and like you said, it's if you want to also travel and experience the country. Where are you going next week?
Yeah, next week I'm gonna start a trip in going to Iloilo.
Yeah.
And gonna hit Bacla, Dumaguete, Cebu, Siquijor, probably Siargao, go all over. Maybe even Davao, we'll see. But yeah, I actually don't have it all mapped out yet. That's another thing that I really love, is that I don't actually have a plan right now. I just know that I'm leaving. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
For the time being.
Awesome.